So we're going to start with the sealing hair butter and the Get Set hair jelly for this wash and go tutorial. Now that we've washed your hair, oh, look at that. Looks so good. So good. So per usual, I always like to work in sections again, especially when your hair is as dense as yours. And a lot of times I say if you have to re-wet or refresh your hair the next day, it's either your products, your technique, or both. So if you're not taking your time, sectioning your hair, applying the products, then it could be your technique. So I like to section the hair across. Try not to go straight down the middle, because then that's how you end up with that line of demarcation. You know, like I've noticed in some tutorials, people will split their hair in half, right? Like straight down the middle, and then they'll work on one half and then the other half. But then they end up with this line. So you don't want to do that. I always like to start and go from side to side and then back to front. It doesn't need to be perfect lines either. Now I do notice like the ends of your hair are a little dry. And that's probably, again, because you're wetting your hair every other day and you're not applying anything to your hair. So that's just making your hair more parched. So at the very least, you should at least apply like a leave-in to your hair. Okay, so we're going to get your hair nice and wet first. So we have our water. Okay, then I'm going to go into smaller sections. And again, just getting tangles, making sure there are no tangles. So we're using the sealing hair butter today. Normally I use the moisturizing hair pudding, but I wanted to use the sealing hair butter because it doesn't have a hole to it, but it locks in the moisture in your hair. It also gives you that bigger hair as well, like because it doesn't have as much of a hold as the moisturizing hair pudding. If you're looking to get like big hair, which we want to do with your hair today, is give you like a nice curly afro. But look how your hair is just absorbing that in, which is so nice.
It smells good.
Yay. Yeah, it has a light fragrance, but it's not going to linger in the hair once it dries. And then I'm going to go, so if you like your hair to just have like an afro and we want it big, you can just leave it like that and it will dry, but it won't have as much definition. But if you're going for more definition, we're going to go in with the Get Set hair jelly. Yeah, the ends of your hair definitely, it feels dry. So just make sure like when you, to at least apply a leave-in to the ends or to your hair. And that's going to keep you from getting single strand knots. It's going to keep the ends from getting knotty. But you have great curl definition.
Okay.
Yeah. Like my hair, I have to use tons of water. My hair is much, the porosity of my hair is much lower than yours. So it takes a lot more effort for my hair to absorb products.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't see what I had to do to get it to do this. Like, this wasn't just slap products in it.
That's how we go.
Wet it again.
Just add a little bit more water.
So when it comes to wash and goes, you want to find like the right water to product ratio that works for your hair. So when your hair is low porosity, you want it to be soaking wet. If it's medium, you know, maybe wet, and then high porosity, damp. The main reason is with low porosity hair, getting moisture is a lot harder. Like our hair will hold on to product a lot easier than someone who has high porosity hair. But high porosity hair, they get water in their hair easily, but their hair can't retain it. So that's kind of why it makes it easier for your hair to absorb your product when your hair is soaking wet, but then it also helps to lock that moisture in. A little bit more. And sometimes like when I'm applying the product, I like to get that like squishy sound. You want to make sure you get every strand of hair with product. And we're just layering the butter and then the jelly on top of that. Your hair is looking amazing so far. Like, I need to not say that because I don't want you, I want to like surprise you when you see the end result.
It feels like it's hanging.
You got some hang. Like, you want to hang, you got the hang. It's just going to work in smaller sections. And it's always easier when your hair is like one uniform pattern versus working with like some heat damage or you have a lot of breakage. And I know a lot of people, they want to hold on to that length and they're afraid of trimming off the broken pieces of their hair. But it's like you're just making your life a lot harder working with different textures. So it's like, just do yourself a favor. Big chop if you have to, but you'll be saving yourself. And you won't have to go back to your hairstylist as often, because one of the reasons, like if you have a lot of breakage, you don't want to get rid of it. Over time, you're going to have to go to your stylist more often for them to trim it. But once you get all of that damaged pieces off and you're working with just your hair and your goal is to grow it out, you don't have to go to your stylist as often. Just go like every few months if you feel like you need it. Like, I get my hair trimmed once a year. But you can see the difference between the hair with the product and where I didn't put any product on it, and just how you have like that elongation, which is something that a lot of curlies want, is to at least see some of that length that you have, and you're getting that elongation, which is something I feel like you probably hadn't had before.
Yeah, I never experienced that.
Elongation. And that's what the Get Set Hair Jelly does. It elongates the curls. You're still going to have your curls, but it's not going to be as shrunken.
That's what we're looking for, stretching the curl.
So the way your hair looks wet with the conditioner is how it will look after it dries. And sometimes what I like to do is, if you want even more stretch, you can just pull your hair back and up before you get under the dryer, which is something that I do with my own hair. Or when you blow dry it, once your hair is like 80% dry, you can always pull it and stretch it out. Your hair absorbs product very easily, which makes it more medium porosity. Yeah, so I would say your hair is like more medium porosity, but there are some low porosity tendencies and parts to it. You know, one of the reasons why it's easier, even though her hair is much denser than like other people, is because it's healthy, right? Like all the other hair models I've worked with, they've had like some kind of damage to their hair, whether it was like heat damage. So we're working with two different textures, so it's harder to try to make them mimic each other. But because your hair is in a better maintained, it's like I don't have to do as much to it, and your hair is just soaking up the product. And that's why, like, when you're maintaining your hair, if you're doing it, you know, your routine on a regular basis, it just makes it so much better. It's less work in the long run. I won't say it's easier, because I think saying easy, it makes people think like, oh, it's going to be like 10 minutes. We know that's not the case. Well, like, because you take your time when you detangle every single time, you know, this process was a lot faster. Because you know to shampoo and condition your hair, you don't have like a lot of product buildup that I had to like really go in and remove all of that. And I'm applying the products in like bigger chunks than I normally do, just because it's like, again, so much less work. I mean, I don't think natural hair is hard. You know, it's just a lot of times we just don't understand our hair. We don't know what we're doing and we get frustrated. And I was there too. Like I stopped relaxing my hair in 1998, but I still had use the flat iron. I got heat damage, just, you know, like most people, once you discover how straight your hair can get with a flat iron.
Yeah.
Right? And then you get used to that. And then when it's time, you're like, oh, I want to wear my curls. You're like, what curls?
Lost those a long time ago.
Right? Your curls were like, who? Me? We left. So I always big chopped. I've never transitioned. Like when I had heat damage, I was like, all right, chopped it all off, start over again.
So I'm like, maybe actually before this, my hairstyle right now, I had locks. And I
Really?
yeah, these are from my hair right now is from combed out locks.
Oh,
I
wow.
combed them out.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had my locks in for a year.
Wow. And you decided that locks wasn't for you, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a commitment.
I think that I'm gonna get them back one day.
One day. Yeah.
Like you said, in the front of my hair was stringy, and I kept on cutting it out, cutting it out, but it still just be stringy, and I'm like, why is that? But now I know it's from washing it too much.
Air drying it.
Yeah, air drying. Yep.
Yeah.
And like I would wet my locks every day.
And then it takes even longer to dry.
Yep.
We're almost done. I'm actually gonna dry your hair going back and not with like any particular part. That way we can always figure it out once your hair dries. All right, so now I'm gonna turn you to the other side. You definitely have hang. Yeah, when it comes to Afro textured hair, it's just going to be high maintenance. That's just the nature of our hair. Because even when I used to relax my hair, it still took me 3 hours.
Wow.
Just because it was long and dense and I had a lot of hair to work with. And it takes my hair, I sit under the hooded dryer and it just takes longer. And the same process I'm doing on your hair, this is what I do on my hair. Same thing. The way I'm like going section by section, adding water, layering the products. So you'll find that your hair will last longer, so you won't need to re-wet it every couple of days. And my favorite is like by day 3, that's when it's like it's like nice and big and tousled and looks, you know, a little messy. And I feel like that's when curly hair looks its best. And for most people, they agree, like they love day 3 hair. Yeah, I don't want to have like any specific part right now, just so we could figure out what we want to do after your hair dries.
Okay. Feels good and light.
Okay, so next we're going to put you under the hooded hair dryer until your hair is completely dry, and we'll see what comes out. All right, so now we're just going to set Salima under the hooded hair dryer, and this is going to help her hair, one, dry faster. It's going to dry a lot smoother, but also it helps her hair to absorb the product. So let's get you out of this dryer. So Salima's hair is now dry, but first, before Salima even gets to see what her hair looks like, let's show you guys what it looks like from the back. So it did shrink up a little bit, but again, that's just her curls going back to its natural state. But you can see she has a lot of length to her hair, but we can always stretch this out if we want to, but we're not going to because we love the way this looks as is. And then we'll fluff up her hair some so that it doesn't look like this, because this is her hair fresh out of the dryer. But she wanted a little bit of hang time with her hair, so let's see. And this even has a little light. Yeah.
Some way. Yeah. Oh yeah, it feels good. Juicy curls. Yes, I love it.
Yeah, we can, like, once we're ready to fluff it out, you know, we can this way, like drying the hair all the way back and not automatically giving it a part is because the way you dry your hair, that's how it's going to end up parting. And then you'll have to, that part is going to be there until the next time you wash it. So this way, if once we fluff out your hair, sometimes your curls want to do its own thing. So we wanted to give you that option, and that's why I dried it back.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yes. And then I can tell that it's stretched out more because usually my curls are tighter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that it's stretched out.
Yeah, and you can even see how, look at these perfect little ringlets you got here. Perfect little ringlets.
It looks like people.
These are, it's so interesting because I do so many of these hair demos, and people are like, well, I don't have curls. And I'm like, yes, you do. It's very rare for someone to not have a curl pattern. And I've seen it, like, not everyone's going to have a defined curl pattern, but most people do. And usually it's just because they're not using the right products or the technique. They're not shampooing their hair so that their hair can absorb the products to hold on to that curl. But this is your natural curl pattern.
Yeah, and I know what you mean by like day 3 hair. I know I'm going to love it.
Yes.
Like even more.
Yes. So we can, like, I'm afraid of using picks. So I always like to just fluff it out with my hands, you know, and just this way. Because when you showed up, like, your hair was just like this beautiful afro. And now,
Some definition curls.
yes, it's a defined afro that we can give you. So if you want your hair to just be, you know, big and up like this, you can. But if you want to give it a part, you know, now you have options where, do you want to part it? You can part it on either side, or if you just want it all going back.
Yeah.
Now here's my favorite part. Shake your head. Like, shake, shake, shake. Look at that movement. Gorgeous.
Yeah, it feels like.
Yes.
Yeah.
No flaking. It's just defined curls.
I love it.
They look great. Hey,